Shortcuts in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are meant to be easy, but in this video, I'm going to be sharing my top 10 hardest shortcuts in the game. Most of these shortcuts will be so hard that they're not even worth going for online. I will be putting the CC down the bottom right corner of the screen so you guys can know what CC you can do these shortcuts on. So let's get into it. At number 10 we have the Sky High Sunday Ending shortcut. This shortcut seems really easy, but actually it's really hard. And if it was 200cc, you'd see many people going for it online, but on 150, not even I go for it. What you want to do is you want to drift off here, come into the air, hold back on the joystick since it's anti-gravity and you can control your kart in the air, and then hope that you make it back onto these jumps. If you do it all correctly, it should save a tiny bit of time and get you a few positions up in a race. Number 9 is the Shroomless Shy Guy Falls shortcut. This Shroomless shortcut is very easy on 200cc, but we're talking 150cc. If you miss the trick, you're definitely falling down. What you want to do is you want to come at it with a drift, hop over the grass. You're going to have to hop a few times, but then if you still have enough speed, you'll be able to trick off the ramp and make it back onto the track. The hardest part about this shortcut is actually getting the trick off the ramp. Without it, you're going to go falling down, and you're not going to be able to trick off it if you don't have enough speed. Overall, this shortcut does save a lot of time, but if you have a mushroom, definitely use the mushroom in a race. Okay, number 8, and we got our first 200cc shortcut. This shortcut is the Yoshi Circuit Shroomless Waterfall shortcut. While it can be done on 150cc, that is way too hard to put it in number 8. That would be almost a number 1 or number 2. But even on 200cc, this is one of the hardest shortcuts in the game. Just like the Shy Guy Falls one, if you don't get the trick, you're gonna fall down. And the only way to get the trick is by coming at it with a lot of speed. You need to start the approach early with this one, starting all the way here, charging up a drift, releasing it, charging up another drift, timing your hop perfectly as soon as you get to the off-road, landing on the tip of the off-road, tricking, and then hopefully you make it. I failed this shortcut so many times when recording this video, and you really need to learn this shortcut if you want to go for it in a race. Number 7 is the Mute City Ending shortcut. This is another 150cc one. What you have to do is perfectly time the hop, land on the tip of the trick ramp, trick, and then you'll make it to this platform, and there you go. This shortcut is pretty easy to do shroomless on 200cc, but on 150cc, it's almost impossible. You also have to hit this dash panel here to come at it with a lot of speed. Overall, it saves so much time, and sometimes, if your race depends on it, you should go for it on lap 3, but that's only if you have learned it. Number 6 is the DK Summit Gap Jump on 200cc. This is one of the few shortcuts in the game that is actually harder to do on 200cc. This is because you can get sent flying so far that you actually go onto this part of the track and then Lakitu has to pick you up. Start your drift at this jump, do not trick off the jump, and then release the drift before going off the ledge. Start a left drift, release it when you touch the ground, and then hope if you've done it perfectly, you should land on the dash panel here. The reason you want to land on the dash panel is because you're going so slow when falling down that it's just too slow to accelerate. So you can use the dash panel to instantly get to top speed. If you find yourself not landing on the dash panel, you could use a mushroom to accelerate. Once you've learnt this shortcut, it's not very hard. The first few times going for it, it's pretty hard, and you should definitely have a few practice attempts in time trials before going for it in a race. Number 5 is the Bowser's Castle Wall Ride. This shortcut is very hard on 150cc and even harder on 200cc. Right now we're talking about 150cc. What you have to do is you have to charge up a drift, release it right on the very edge of the platform, which is actually not off-road. This helps you cut this whole corner, but you have to get the alignment absolutely perfect. Otherwise you'll be falling off or touching the off-road. Number 4 is the Wario Stadium shortcut. I'm not even sure if this shortcut is faster, but it's definitely one of the coolest shortcuts in the game. Also the hardest shortcut in the game. I've showed this shortcut a lot in my previous videos, but it's definitely worth going over again for the hardest shortcuts in the game. What you want to do is you want to select a combo Dry Bowser, Mach 8, Leaf Tires, and Paper Glider, and then line yourself up right here. Use a mushroom, hop, and hopefully, if you don't hit the fireballs or fall off the track, you'll make it all the way back onto the track. This shortcut is definitely not worth going for online, as you have to stop in the middle of the track and line yourself up. The only point of this shortcut is just to be cool. Also, the reason that you have to be this exact combo is that it's one of the best combos for anti-gravity, and this shortcut is done in anti-gravity. Number 3 is the donut plane shortcut on 150cc. This is a shroomless shortcut, surprisingly, and it saves so much time. Even though you have to go on the off-roads for so long, it's still a huge time save, just because otherwise you'd be taking so much outside lanes. What you want to do is you want to start drifting on the bridge, hit this little thing coming up, which will give you some air, and then hopefully you can almost get around the corner, hop a few times, and you'll make it back onto the track. This is almost one of the biggest time saves in the game that's a shroomless shortcut. It's definitely worth going for online once you've learnt it a few times. Also, not many people know about this shortcut, so you'll be overtaking a lot of people. But it is still much faster to use a mushroom. Number 2 is the Mushroom Gorge Gap Jump on 150cc. This shortcut is very hard because you can fall off, or you can hit this bit of off-road, which will send you flying up in the air, and it will mess up your lines so badly that you'll have to hop out of the off-road on the other side. The way to do it is don't trick off the last mushroom, instead hold a drift off it, then go over this little rock here, use a mushroom and then hop. This is very important that you use the mushroom before you hop. Otherwise, you'll be using the mushroom as you're in the air, which doesn't actually do much. Then, if you've done it correctly, you should be clearing this gap and making it to the finish line. One of the reasons that this is the most powerful shortcut to do in a race is because it's right at the finish line, and it can get you from 6th to 1st and you'll win the race. This is one of the best shortcuts to practice in time trials because Mushroom Gorge actually comes up a lot online, and if you find that you've got a mushroom, you'll be able to take this huge shortcut. And in number 1 we have the Rainbow Road 8 Ultra shortcut. This shortcut was actually found by me, as you might know already. Again, you have to select Dry Bowser, Mach 8, Leaf Tires, and Paper Glider. Come here, use a mushroom to cut across the off-road, hop at this line as you're going off the track, use a second mushroom, and if you've done it all correctly, you should be making it back onto the track. The reason that this shortcut is so hard is the landing. Firstly, you could not make it far enough, and secondly, you can make it way too far. So you have to use the drift brakes and turn as soon as you land. Most people think that this shortcut is slower because the world record doesn't take it, but there are actually 2 reasons why the world record doesn't take it. One is because it requires 2 mushrooms, and in time trials you only get 3. And 2 is because this off-road shortcut is actually a bit bigger, but it's still a huge time save, and I have actually pulled it off a few times online before and won the race. Anyway, that's it. That's the top 10 hardest shortcuts in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. If you liked this video or you like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, make sure to subscribe. And remember, practice these shortcuts before you pull them off online. See ya!